Welcome, welcome. I'm Dee, and this is the Single Mom Unguided Life where I try to navigate through finances, motherhood, being single, and everything in between. And I bring you guys along for the journey to hold me accountable. This is my December monthly overview. It is already December. We need to go ahead and tell the last month of the year what our money should be doing for us. Okay, so I am going to first let you know that there will be multiple noises in the background, so definitely excuse them as they arrive, or it happens, should I say as it happens, because it's gonna happen. Additionally, I got lotion in my nails. I'm trying to get it out, but it's there. Okay, I think I got it. I didn't want to be super dry with my nails, but I see some little dry spots going on, so I hope you guys can see it. And if so, oh well. All right, so let's go ahead and move these items to the side so we can get into this budget. Let me tell you, when you record, you find out when you watch the playback how you was really feeling. When I first did this, my intention was to try to do this before I went on my trip because, one, I didn't want to, overspend in categories that I shouldn't overspend or pull out accounts that I shouldn't be pulling out. What I did in December, I just didn't want to follow through. So the best thing for me is to kind of put up a barrier, a way to deter that, and that was to go ahead and do this budget. So I know I have some goals. It's the last month. I want to knock it out of the park. Okay. But when I went back and listened to it, I can hear so much frustration. That particular day, there was some noises that was straight irritating me to the core because I could not understand, like, why you out there making all that noise. Two, and then so I moved to another area, and then the noise became prevalent again in the front. So I was going back and forth to the point I was like, let me do this. And you can hear so much frustration in my voice. And I was like, y'all don't deserve to hear that frustration. Things happen. I live in a townhome that's attached to another place. So I'm going to have noises. It's not as big, so my son is going to make noises as well. So I just have to get over it. If it bothers you, I'm sorry, but that's where we at from right now. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get to what you came here for, okay? And that was our December monthly budget. As always, we start with our monthly calendar. This is a Ray Dunn planner, and it just reminded me that I need to run into Marshall's to see if they have released the 2021. But right now, this is where we at in 2020. So I hope you guys can see this layout. I'm gonna do my best to try to stay in frame. I am doing a different type of setup at this time, but here we go. So the December budget runs from December 4th to December 31st. I will be receiving 3 paychecks this month that will be dedicated towards my December budget. The first paycheck would be the stipend, and then I received 2 paychecks on the 14th, the 4th and the 18th from my employer. Though my budget starts on the 4th and I receive this pay, it's still going to fall into my December budget. And the reason for that is because this was something new and I kind of didn't figure it out at this point. Going forward, it'll go where it needs to go in the right spot, but we're good to go with that. So let's talk about what I have to pay in the month of December and some changes. So right now, of course, rent is always due on the 1st, and it's $715, and I put an asterisk there so I can remember to talk about this. So what happened is that I did not usually I place the rent for December in my last check in November, but I chose not to do that because I did the magic month in November versus December like I've done in years past. So what I was going to do is just go ahead and pay the rent on the 4th because I have into the 5th and I won't be charged any late fees. But what I decided to do is actually just pull out of the buffer that I have. And so that after I pull out the buffer, then when I get paid on the 4th, we'll work our way on putting the buffer back by the end of the month. And so I'll show you how that look when we do the pre-plan. Okay, let's go ahead and let's talk about the payers plan. Usually the payers plan, I always put $100 because it is $100, but they charge me a fee to actually send this $100 to them. I usually put that fee separate and I place it in my to-do section, but I decided to go ahead and lump it here because that fee is not going to change, because the amount that I pay is not going to change. So that's $100.99 for the payers plan. So it didn't go up, it's just I combined it. The next thing we have is credit card number 1. It has a balance of $74.71. I'm going to go ahead and pay this off because in 2021, I'm going to use this credit card a little bit different. And when I do my annual budget, you'll definitely see it. The next thing is we have our electric, and it's $61.08. It's normally, or has been, $96 for the last 11 months. So let me explain to you guys. I'm on the equal payment plan for my electric, which means 11 months out of the year I'm paying a set amount, and then the 12th month out of the year you pay your usage for that, the billing cycle. And if you have any credits, it's applied to the bill. If you have a balance, it's applied to the bill. I had a credit. It was like $15 or $16, and so that's why my last electric bill is $61.08. And when I do my annual budget, I'm going to explain to you guys why I monitor this. Like, a lot of people don't monitor it, but I do, because I don't want a large December bill. My son is coming in, so you're going to hear that noise. I am going to speak with him, let him know it's okay to come in. All right, just go ahead and put the food in there. I am doing a little recording, so I'll be there shortly to eat. Okay. All right, so that's why that bill is less at this time. The phone bill, the surcharges and taxes went up on the phone plan, so I'll be paying $143.05, and my son will pay his portion, which is for his phone, which is the $26.67. The medical debt. So let's talk about that. This is one thing that I have been working on in the last few months trying to pay off. I've been using my side income to actually pay it off. Therefore, I have decided that I will not be pulling out of my budget. I still receive a bill, so that's why I'm notating it here. But I also placed a note here to let me know that that comes from the side income. So whatever the bill is amount, the side income will pay that amount. The insurance, right now it's showing $132.77, and because they let me share in their profit, they give us a dividend at the end of the year. In my case, I usually have it applied to this bill, so it's always less. They did provide us a dividend in the beginning of the pandemic, like I think it was 2 or 3 months. So I'm not 100% sure they're going to go ahead and do that this time around. And I'm sorry to hear that someone's calling. I'm just going to finish my thought, and then I know they're going to call the third time. So I am going to pause it and wait for them to call back so I can hear what they have to say. So I'm waiting for them to determine if we're going to get the end of year dividend, but this is what the bill is currently. The car note I'll be paying in the month of December is for January, and I decided for credit card number 2, I am only going to send the minimum of $28 because it is on a 0%. And I have until like March to pay it off, but I know that I have to pull from my sinking funds to pay a portion of this balance off because I placed something on this credit card for a group of individuals, and they paid me back. So except for one person, and since they haven't, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to pull out my sinking funds as well and pay this off and be done with it. If the person decided they want to give me that portion, I'm gonna tell them keep it. You need it more than me, apparently, because we're all adults, and when you offer to do something, do it. Nobody should have to remind you. So that's good to go. So let's go ahead and move down here. I'll be giving 3 times because I get paid 3 times. The medicine, I'm gonna still pull at $30. I'm not sure what it'll be next month because in November it was actually way less, so we'll see what the difference is going into December. I received a medical bill in the middle of November, and it is due at the end of November, but I said no, I'm not paying y'all in the end. You can't, nope, I already set my budget. I'm not finna pull from no type of funds, no savings or nothing. You'll just be placed into budget for December. So I put a note here, and where I want the money to come from is actually going to come from my side income. So this is how my monthly overview looks. I am going to pause and I'm going to come back and finish this out. Okay, we are back. We filled our bellies with some goodness, and we're ready to finish on. So we left off talking about the December budget as far as the monthly calendar overview. We're going to just sit this to the side, and we're going to talk about the financial goals for December. One, I want to pay off my medical loan. This is the one that I've been working on. It's the medical consolidation loan. This loan was due to a year's worth of medical bills that I was not paying, that I just moved over to this group. And I'll talk further about this when I do my debt update to tell you the ins and outs of this particular loan. So we are on point with actually paying this off. So that is a plus. I need to go ahead and start creating my annual budget so I can see exactly what expenses will be going with me over in 2021, what debt will be coming with me in 2021. Also, it's my way of checking up to seeing if I can get lower monthly payments on different services that I have. So that's one thing. And additionally, also checking to see who's going to be making some changes in the upcoming year, so I know exactly how my money will be going. So this is the lay of the land, and of course I'm still working on my check-in buffer and or trying to keep my check-in buffer at $715 by the end of December. As discussed before, we will be using it in the beginning of December, but our expectation is to put it right back where it needs to be by the end of December. So we're good to go for that. So let's go ahead, and we're just going to fill out the expense tracker portion with the due dates and the amounts. All bills have been actually verified as far as receiving confirmation of the amount and the due dates. So that is definitely a plus for me, because it helps me with making sure that everything is accurate. So before moving on, excuse me, I'm going to calculate this to see a total fixed expenses or the bills that I have for the month. All right, good to go. So that's where we at as far as the bills, $2,245.40. We're going to slide this to the side. And we're going to work on our budget pre-plan. I'm going to put these both to the side so we can have that. So the budget pre-plan basically just tells me out of each check what expenses will be coming out of those particular checks. And before moving on, let's go back here because we need to highlight those particular bills as well. I did the purple already for the second paycheck. I need to do that for this particular paycheck. So we have the first check that I received is the stipend of $142.29. I will only be putting taking out of this particular pay my giving, so that $142.29 minus $14.23, and that leaves me with $128.60. We're gonna move down here, and we're just gonna put buffer, and that is going to be the $128.06. So for my second paycheck, I based the income at $1,600, and we're just gonna minus the bills from the $1,600
to see what we have remaining.
Okay, so we have $866.60 that is remaining after I pay my bills. So let's talk about what we will actually be putting towards our variable expenses. So for fun money, we're just going to do 25. I'm going to put 25 in gifts this time because there's birthdays in January, so I want to set myself up to be having a little money in that particular account or that category to be able to spend from. The grocery is going to be 180. It's the beginning of the month, so I was trying to not only buy items for the next 2 weeks, but also any items that I need to restock. So yes, so household, I'm not going to put anything in household because there is a balance coming over from the last budget, and it's nothing in the household that we need at this present time. And for personal, we're going to do 80, restaurants 25, car maintenance, we are going to do, let's do 50. And then for gas, let's do the normal 30.
I wanted to just tally up the sinking funds in the envelope system total, so when it's time to do the monthly budget overview, it'd be easier to calculate. The envelope system is $335 and the sinking funds is $80. And we're going to take what was remaining from after paying the bills of the $866.60, and we're going to minus each of those categories until we get what is left for us to work with for the remaining of our budget.
That's $451.60. So we just come down here and we put in the buffer, and that's $451.60. Okay, so as you can see, the theme of everything is right now I'm just pushing things towards the buffer at this time because I'm trying to work to get the buffer back up. All right, so let's go to the third check that I'm going to receive. And again, it's the same thing as stated before. I always start off with the $1,600, and we just minus the bills from each one. You can see I have less bills taken out this particular check, and that's usually what happens. Anyway, sometimes I just stretch it out or pay things early, but it's totally fine with that. So $969.09 is left after I pay the bills. So for fun money, it's going to be 25. Gifts is going to be 25. Groceries is 160. Household, we're going to do 40. Personal, we're going to do for personal, I believe. And I do have a cheat sheet, not my normal cheat sheet, it's my different cheat sheet, but I think it was the same. Oh, you know what? I'm glad I did look at my little cheat sheet here. This paycheck actually is going to cover 2 meal plans. I mean, 2 holidays. So the meals are going to be a little bit more. So with that being said, I need to move that up to 180. For personal, it's going to be 80. Restaurants, 25. Car maintenance is going to be 50. Gas is 30. And property is 10. And we're going to do that again like I did before. So that is going to be 90. And then we're going to do this. Now let's see. 25, 180, 40, 80, and then 25. So that's 375 plus 90. That's not 90. I don't know why I put 10. I'm like, oh, that's freaking off. This is 15. And 2. This is actually going to be 95. So 95 plus 375 should give me 470. Okay, that's a lot better. Okay, 969 499.09. So let's talk about this real quick. So of course we have the buffer. Okay, and then what we're looking at when we look at the buffer is, let's go back to here. We know that after we'll be starting here with the buffer. Okay, so that's 451.60, and we need to do 715. So we need $263.40 needs to go towards the buffer to make it $715. And the reason is because this buffer here is actually going to be part of the 715 that is going to pay off the rent. And so after that, I'm building it up. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Makes sense to me. So that's $263.40. And so we know that we will have $499.09 left. So let's just, that means $235.69. And that would actually go to our savings. Okay, so I hope that makes sense here. So let's move over to the last budget pre-plan sheet, because the budget pre-plan sheets, I purchased the digital download from Kiambra Vaughn, and you can print up as many as you will like, and it's based off 5 paychecks. If you have include extra income, which I do not include my extra income in my budget pre-plan, and I like this because it's streamlined. So check out her YouTube channel, Kiambra Vaughn, as well as her website, kiambravaughn.com. So for paycheck 1, it is a buffer of 128.06 cents. Excuse me, what's left over 128.06 cents. For paycheck 2, 451.60, and paycheck 3 is 2.6. Oops, I done told the story. Let me spell that out again. It is actually 499.09, and that's actually what's left in the paychecks. And so then this is my plan for my leftovers. So paycheck number 1 is buffer of 128.06. Paycheck number 2 is going to be buffer as well, and that is going to be 451.60. And then paycheck number 3 will be buffer, and that will be 263.40, and then savings, and that's 235.69. All right, so that is the budget pre-plan. We are going to go back to our monthly budget overview sheet, because now we need to fill out this information. So for our cash envelopes, we won't be taking anything out the first check. The second check is $335 for cash envelopes, and $375 for the second one. So that's $335 plus $375. So that's $710. Then for sinking funds, it's $95. And then $80. So that's $175. Savings will be $260. Oops, not $260. I'm glad I have these. So that's actually $235.69. Nothing would be extra debt payment, and the buffer is $715. Let's see if we can zero this out. So let's talk about the income. We have 2 paychecks of $1,600 plus the $142.29. So that is going to be $3,342.29. The rollover is, and let me double check to make sure, because I think it's more than what I think it is. So let me just double check. See, I knew there was going to be a mistake. So the extra debt payment here is actually going to be the $200. Because I know I'll be pulling that from my savings. So I make sure I have to put it here to identify that it will be going towards a particular debt. So the rollover that I'll be actually pulling over is $738.80. Pulling $200 from savings. So we have 3,342.29, 738.80 plus 200, and that's $4,281.09. Then we're going to place the income here, and let's add up all of the expenses, starting with the bills of $2,245.40, $710 for cash envelopes, $175 for sinking funds, $235.69 for savings, $200 for debt, and $715 is going to go towards the checking buffer. So every dollar is accounted for. So as always, I always put in the dates of my spend for my transaction log and my spending tracker, as well as each week for my weekly check-ins of my envelope system and my sinking funds. This particular monthly budget only has 4 weeks, and I'm just going through each, making sure I'm putting in those weeks that it corresponds with. This is our December monthly budget setup. I'm so excited for this upcoming month. We have accomplished so much so far, and it's all because of planning. I feel like that because I'm able to plan ahead of time, everything becomes less stressful. Though I did have some weak areas, I was able to overcome them because there was a plan B, versus in the past there was no plan B, and it was just everything fell apart. So I'm just so happy, and I hope that November has gone well, and I am going to be rooting you on in December to meet all of your goals to end this year off strong. If you're new to my channel and you will love to be a part of my village, because I would love for you too as well, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. To all my current subscribers, I thank you for your support. And if you can please share this with your family, your friends, and your co-workers. Peace out.